just shows you just how important it is to have buildings be secure, our infrastructure secure, even though this is a building that people lived in. It doesn't really have much to do with the government, but it really sort of brings home what can happen if you let these things, possibly in this case, go too long without being recertified and so forth. So let's turn now to that bipartisan breakthrough for the Biden administration on infrastructure and also on police reform as well. So joining me now, CNN senior political analyst John Avlon and political commentator Alice Stewart. Good evening to both of you. And I'll say from the onset, as I know both of you, our prayers are with the folks, especially the families and the people who still may be trapped there. So we're thinking about them. So let's discuss this as we are thinking about the folks in Florida. Good evening. John, you know, a bipartisan deal on infrastructure and an agreement on a framework for bipartisan police reform. There's still a long way to go to get this all across the finish line. But is Biden's bet on bipartisanship paying off at this point? It seems. I don't know.
Looks like it. And you know, he took a lot of heat from folks who said they were skeptical or cynical that this was even possible. But Biden put a lot of faith in his Senate years and the ability to get people to reason together. This is a long way from being a done deal. But you got to remember that during the Obama years, Mitch McConnell and co. filibustered and blocked a $60 billion infrastructure bill from President Obama. So this is a very big deal, even if it's less total dollars than a lot of Democrats might wish. It is evidence that after all the promises of infrastructure week we heard over and over again from Donald Trump, that maybe Joe Biden and a centrist group of senators can get it done. That's a big deal.
Well, here's the thing. When you're practical, let's be practical about this. Sure, I'm sure Democrats in the progressive wing of the Democratic Party would have liked to have a whole lot more money. Maybe they're banking on the next round to get more money. But when you're negotiating, that's what happens. You compromise. You don't get everything you want. And then you start to, after you negotiate, you can negotiate a little bit more. You develop confidence with people. So let's hope that is the atmosphere that will start to, spread itself around Washington, D.C. I'm hopeful. Who knows?
I think so too, and I agree with John, and I'm sure you agree as well, Don.
Alice, but I can hear all the folks out there going, "Oh, right, Don, that'll never happen."
No, it's nice to have an infrastructure week actually last more than 5 minutes. And look, the president said it today, and everyone will agree. Bipartisanship is the way to move forward and the way to make progress in Washington, D.C. And it's been so refreshing to see the give and take and the back and forth by Democrats and Republicans and this president. And while bipartisanship is the path forward, a bait and switch is a path to stalemate. And the problem we had today, we had a tremendous victory when we said we have a deal on infrastructure, but when the president and the Gang of 10 came out and spiked the football, and then 2 hours later we hear that they have moved the goalposts, it's really not a victory. And when we have that contingent on a progressive wish list, I see it being very difficult to move forward with this successful infrastructure package if there's going to be that companion bill that progressives want to be attached with it.
Well, they said they had a deal, so let's see. Who knows? This is the first step. I want to play this, Alice. This is the former Vice President Mike Pence pushing back on criticism that he didn't go along with attempts to overturn the 2020 election. This is what he said at the Ronald Reagan Institute tonight. Here it is.
Truth is, there's almost no idea more un-American than the notion that any one person could choose the American president. The presidency belongs to the American people and the American people alone. And I will always be proud that we did our part on that tragic day to reconvene the Congress and fulfilled our duty under the Constitution and the laws of the United States. Now, I understand the disappointment many feel about the last election. I can relate. I was on the ballot. But there's more at stake than our party and our political fortunes in this moment. If we lose faith in the Constitution, we won't just lose elections. we'll lose our country.
Wow, it's quite a statement from the vice president. You know, the truth is powerful, Alice. Alice?
It certainly is, and it was a very delicate line for him to walk with regard to making that a bold statement without going too far and really standing up against the former president. But I think what's really important is you have to give Mike Pence credit for the January 6th action that he took as president of the Senate when he was being requested by the former president to stop the certification of the election. And Mike Pence said, I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. And my role is to preside and not change the outcome of these elections. And so I applaud him for that. But I think the most important thing what he said is not only do we need to stand by our Constitution, we need to stand by the integrity of our election.
Okay.
And that's what needs to be translated across the board.
All right, I want to, last word quickly, please, John, if you will.
Look, there can be no compromise with lies, and this is a closer that he's come to actually speaking clearly on the subject. You shouldn't have to walk a line. I understand the politics of it, but what he said was right. He should say it consistently and loudly and sooner because it's important.
Thank you both. I appreciate it. I'll see you soon.
Thanks, Don.
It's all